Last time on Square Roots, we travel to Chinatown where we meet a whole new flavor of vampire, rescue a kidnapped girl, and participate in some double-blind scientific experiments. Later, we team up with a young lady to battle a street shark. They bite, they fight, they stand for everything right. Street sharks! Chiasm!
I'll never crawl again. I'll never fall again until I'm free. Here I stand in this room.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by John. What did I call you in the original recording before I messed it up?
Who knows, Jim?
Yeah, nobody knows because the track is gone. And joined by Johnny Brandon and Vanessa.
Blah! Just when you think there's no more vampire. One final vampire rises from the tomb. Blah!
Matthew is on this episode, but he's not here because we're recording this after the fact because I think a sound vampire drained all the sound out of my track.
Blah! Now you are hollow and empty. All of your sound has been turned into the sweet ether of life for me, the sound pyre.
So, as always, this is a podcast where we play and talk about classic RPGs. In this case, this is the final episode in our Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines series. Just want to let everybody know, while you won't hear me on the rest of the episode because my track got lost, I was very hilarious.
You were really on fire, and there's some stuff about tuna cans that I'm really missing.
Oh, that was so good. Listeners.
Yeah, we were riffing on throwing the cans around the vampire hunters to lure them away.
Yes. And
I think I used the phrase "solve the mystery of the loose tuna cans."
But like this curse that afflicts us to live our days of immortality devoid of any true pleasure or joy, so are you cursed to listen to this episode devoid of the true pleasures and joys that you might have heard as a mortal.
Now, there is one thing I can do, since this is a week later after our first recording. I can note that I drastically overstated the misogyny of your dialogue responding to both, was it Kiki? And the lady who, Ming Zhao. You never call either of them a bitch.
Yeah, you were just really eager to throw that in there.
You still are nasty. Like I took a screenshot of the 3 answers to her explaining what the Kuei Jin are, and I was right that there was 2 jerky answers and 1 fine answer, but it doesn't go as far as I stated. So that is a mea culpa that I can use this opportunity to give you.
That's good, John. I'm proud of you for owning up to that.
Yeah, it actually says a lot about John because John is a very considerate and sensitive person. So to him, being slightly rude is just as bad as calling someone a bitch whore and telling them to go fuck themselves.
I mean, you're still, you're slightly rude. You're not, but I was also very tired when we recorded that. Anyway, so it's still a fun episode. I'm sure you all will really like it. Just imagine that Jim is there talking in a German accent for like half the episode.
Yeah. Can you hit us up with like one line of that sweet German impression of yours, Jim?
Oh man, let me see if I can tap back into it. Let's see. We were talking about the lasers, the trip mines.
Yeah, they're set to vampire.
Oh yeah, Gunther, I dare you to touch the laser. Is it set to vampire or not? You can find out.
It's definitely set to vampire, though, right?
We don't want me to die in a horrible explosion.
Did you hear the sound of a tin can rolling?
Oh, I
What is
get
that?
it.
So yeah, imagine 20 minutes of that.
Yeah, that's pretty much my entire contribution to this last episode. But you'll never hear it. It's lost in the underworld.
As is your level up. Well,
It's sealed in the antediluvian sarcophagus.
Also, but it's kind of good because I haven't done anything notable in the past week. So maybe I'll just use last week's level up as this week's level up. So
that sounds perfect. All right.
All right, everybody. Thank you for letting me preface this a little bit. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
This is going to be a seamless transition to the new episode. I have used my mastery of sound editing. You will see it very smooth, and you will not notice any changes. All references to Jim have been replaced by Vanessa. And yeah, it'll be perfect. Let me show you how smoothly I can integrate these two. Hey, Matthew, did you want to level up first? You seem pretty excited.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about my new favorite pastime, watching The Mandalorian. Did y'all watch The Mandalorian this week?
Matt, that's what you talked about last time.
I know, but it's been a whole week.
Well, there's been a new episode since. No, there hasn't.
Yeah, there has. There was a second one on Friday.
So, I guess fast forward a minute if there's spoilers. I haven't watched it yet. Is there a baby Yoda?
You just said no spoilers, John.
Well, no, I'm saying there's going to be a spoiler.
Why are you spoiling this for Jim and I? It's so cruel.
I've seen these.
Definitely also discerned the source of this image that's floating around the internet.
The internet is covered in baby Yodas, so I assume there's going to be a baby Yoda.
Well, since the spoiler is spoiled, I'll say, I think that judging from that reveal, you kind of realize what the show is going to be, which is Lone Wolf and Cub, but with Boba Fett.
Oh,
I'm pretty down with that.
I didn't know that.
And is it,
that's a
what
real
I think.
spoiler.
I haven't watched the entire series yet. But
is it actually Boba Fett? I thought it was like
No,
another.
it's not.
Oh, okay.
No, it is not Boba Fett. But I do like to call him Boba Fett because...
Good. I hate Boba Fett. He's super dumb. All he ever did was have a jetpack and then get pushed by a blind man into a pit. And everyone's like, Boba Fett's the coolest. He couldn't even use his jetpack to fly out of the pit.
The one thing he accomplishes in the original series is that he delivers a man that has been frozen in fucking metal. That's all he does.
So he's a postman.
He's a courier.
It's carbonite, Matthew.
I know that. I just didn't want to. You know what? So yeah, there's a baby Yoda. You know what? That baby Yoda is cute as fuck. They upped the cute ante in this show. I feel like now that it's kind of out in the wild, I feel like maybe they did themselves a bit of a disservice hiding the fact that this show is about a baby Yoda. So I had my mother over tonight for dinner, and I've been trying to get her to watch it. It's real short, so I knew we could flip it on during dinner. So we watched it. And at the end, she said to me, basically, she's like, if I had known that it was about a baby Yoda, I would have watched it sooner.
So, a lot of people are real up in arms that you have to, subscribe to all these services. Do people not realize you can, cancel them when you're done watching the show you're watching on that service and then go watch it?
I see articles all the time. I see people commenting on social media like, oh, do you know how much you're spending? We used to have it great. People yearn for the days of cable. Cable is so overpriced. You don't have to have 10 services. You can get by with one. In fact, you can get by with 0. YouTube itself
take a service, watch the thing you want to watch on it, cancel the service, go to another one.
This one, it worked out for me because I was already paying for Hulu ad-free, which was $12.99 a month, or no, $11.99 a month.
Right.
And I said, screw it, I'll just pay $12.99 a month for the Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus package, and I'll just deal with the ads, because who the fuck cares? It's ads.
And, not basic cable, cable with the channels to get the shows you like, is $80 a month, and I don't spend anywhere near that on services. You can watch shows whenever you like on. I much prefer streaming. I think cable was a nightmare.
Disney Plus has been fun for me so far. I have been able to watch some older cartoons with my kids, and I gotta be honest with you, and they have not. They were only here they've only been here once since Disney Plus came out, so we didn't get to watch much. But even then, I went back and watched the old Three Little Pigs and its Big Bad Wolf sequel. Those are from the 30s.
Oh yeah, I remember
The
those.
old Three Little Pigs is heckin' boss.
Yeah, it's awesome. I watched it with my daughter. We had a great time. We watched an episode of Gummy Bears. We watched one of those.
Flute and don't give a hoot.
We watched
Gummy
one of
Bears
those
is bad.
Goofy learns to do something. Gummy Bears. Is
Oh, it has the goofy educational shorts.
yeah.
Oh my
Goofy
God, I
learns
gotta
to
subscribe.
ski. Goofy learns to do this and that.
Those are
They're
so
fucking great.
good.
You know, I was in my hunt to find out because I was looking for them on there, but I wasn't sure what they were called. And I learned something interesting in the process, which is that back in the 30s and 40s when those shorts were produced, the reason those shorts were produced is because the voice actor for Goofy left and went to some other studio, but they still wanted to use Goofy, so you get these weird shorts where Goofy never really talks, and you just get a narrator. But they're great. They're some of the best
They're
bits.
amazing.
Yeah, that is my favorite Disney content is those shorts because they I think a lot of them were kind of financed by the government because people were kind of being civilized, like they're it's teaching you basic life skills in a really interesting way.
Manners.
No, it doesn't do that at all. It is all slapstick with Goofy being a fucking idiot. And the narrator making fun of Goofy the whole time.
I know, it's so good.
Goofy learns to ski is the first one. Anyway, I
So
watched
do the
an
kids
episode
actually
of the
like
old...
those?
Yeah, we had a great time watching them, and I watched a little bit of the X-Men the animated series with my son, and I'm planning on us watching some Gargoyles, and also all the Disney movies are on there. And I got news for you: Frozen 2 comes out next week. In fact, I think that's the weekend after this episode comes out, before this episode comes out, and I'm dying to go see that movie.
I haven't seen Frozen 1.
What? But John.
Cool badge of honor. John's too cool to watch the
No,
movie
I
about
wanted
girls.
to.
What a shocker.
But I was-
Oh, this one's about a couple of girls? Hard pass for John.
I wanted to.
That's not...
I was
That's
dating
not
a guy.
true thing at all. It has an excellent plot.
It's
It's fantastic.
I
It's
was
legitimately
dating a
the best
guy,
Disney movie ever.
And I
made.
was like, want to go see Frozen? And he's like, no, I already saw it and it sucked. And so,
He's wrong. And Jim is wrong.
well, that's why we
Thank you,
broke
Vanessa.
up.
And Vanessa is right.
Yeah, I'm always right.
And that's the one with Idina Menzel, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Idina Menzel. She's so great. She's got such a lovely voice. Anyway, so I guess my level up was Disney Plus.
Vanessa,
How did you level up?
my female friend.
I've been listening to a podcast called Podcast The Ride. It's called Podcast The Ride.
That sounds like a boring ride.
It's a podcast about theme parks and theme park attractions. And I love it. It's great. It's sort of like our show, but more better. Like, like most shows are. But it's just some guys sitting around talking about theme park attractions. They're all in their 30s, and they don't have children, but they love to go to Disneyland. Right now, they're in the middle of something called the Downtown Disney Ordeal, where they are reviewing every part of Downtown Disney, the shopping mall area outside of Disneyland / Disney's California Adventure. It's a daily series of 15 episodes, and it's amazing. If you've ever wanted to hear 40 minutes about Wetzel's Pretzels, it's the podcast for you.
Hey, Vanessa,
yeah.
didn't we talk about taking money for plugs on the side and just slipping them into the episode?
Anyway, they do have a Patreon, so be sure
cool.
to smash that like and subscribe button for all the bonus content. I really like it. They went to Tokyo Disney. I like their enthusiasm. but they aren't like the kind of Disney people who will corner you and explain the entire history of the park. I don't know. They're like actors or something. I don't know what their day jobs are. It's fine. It's good. I like the show. It's very funny. Good to listen to. Good for listening to on an airplane.
Hey, Vanessa, why is your cat in the background behind you wearing a tiara? Oh, I get it now. I'm suggesting that she bought her cat a tiara with the money that she made for this ad that she just did. I apologize that it did not come across at all.
We'll workshop that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have any interest in strange themed attractions or the Disney parks or the Universal Studios parks, you probably enjoy this show. But again, I really enjoy their reviews of shopping malls. They had one where they went to an indoor skydiving place with, what's his name? Paul Scheer from How Did This Get Made?
I'm aware of Paul Scheer.
Yeah, they put him in a little jumpsuit and made him go indoor skydiving. And then they went to, what's it called? Margaritaville.
Margaritaville?
Yeah, the Jimmy Buffett restaurant. So that's my recommendations / level up. If you want me to recommend your product, just, be cool about it. Don't send it to the Square Roots email. Don't send it to the Twitter. These guys have access to that. Just, carry your pigeon, find a way.
DM her for her Cash App.
Please don't DM me.
Find Vanessa on Venmo.
Yeah.
Just start sending money to all the Vanessas. Eventually, you'll hit the right one. Oh, who hasn't gone? John.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
I have done 3 things. They're all pretty quick. Thing 1, my Borderlands 3 save got destroyed, which is, I went to play with someone who was just starting out Borderlands 3, and it does this cool level scaling thing. So, like, no matter what level you are, you can, like, play with anyone and still get experience and stuff. And so I did that. And he was in the opening zone, and after we finished playing, now I only have access to the ship and the opening zone. And I lost all the access to all the other zones you can fast travel to. I can't get to the next story element of the game, and I tried playing online with someone and so I went and joined a random co-op game online to see if that would unlock everything, and it unlocked a zone I haven't been to yet. So the game's broken. I don't know. I'm not happy about that.
That's very sad.
Yeah, I might restart it, but I think I just want to wait until I get it on PC because it runs so badly on PS4, like base PS4. It's almost unplayable. And also, I played some Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I bought that, I don't know if you remember this, back in 2018, I want to say. Yeah, 2018. And I hadn't really played it. So I put some more time into it. That game is frustrating and annoying.
How so?
It has like 18,000 systems. Like you can equip different items and level up different things, and there's like 8 different kinds of experience, and there's just like monsters won't give you very much XP, even if they're if they're more than like one level above you, they'll take 8 to 10 minutes to kill per monster, and then other monsters run in and just destroy you as you're fighting. And it is so frustrating because it's actually pretty fun, but there's just like 20 different ways to craft stuff, and then there's like this fishing mini game that's super important, and it obscures what you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to play it all the time. It doesn't explain how like targeting works in the game. It's because it's kind of neat. Like, it looks good, and the voice acting's really good. Like, the lady who's the sexy sword with the giant breasts that everyone makes fun of is actually a good character, and she's really maybe one of the best performed women in a JRPG ever. Like, she's got like a subtle voice acting. She's just like a really cool girl you want to hang out with. So I really like that, but the game's just super hard. Like, and there's level 90 enemies just wandering around that will, when you're trying to walk through a zone, will just run at you all the time. And apparently that's just a thing in the Xenoblade games. I guess Xenoblade 1 will be available or ready for us to play at some point.
Oh boy, we just finished a terrible game. Can we not fucking set up the next one?
Well, we won't be playing it for a while.
I played a bit of Xenoblade, whatever the fuck it is. I played that one. It was on the Wii or the Wii U, and I thought it was terrible. It was like an MMO, but without the online, which, I don't know, maybe that sounds good, but turns out that it's not. Because I don't like the online, but I also just don't like that style of gameplay. I find it super duper boring.
And finally, Netflix has the final season of Schitt's Creek.
Nice.
So I have been starting to watch that, and I have to say, I don't like Patrick. David can do much better. He looks like former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. He looks like the kind of gay who was in the Young Conservatives in college and then was like, I just think we shouldn't call it gay marriage. We should call it something else because marriage is like a really important thing for Christians. And then after it gets legalized, it's like, let's get married. This
is the 5th season that's currently on Netflix. The 6th season starts in January.
Oh, so
that's the final season.
It hasn't even started yet?
Yeah, the final season is not started. You just got the newest season on Netflix, which is 5. When I watched it on Netflix, I ended up watching season 5 on YouTube TV somehow. I don't know.
Well,
it was there.
Watching it, and I like it because Moira is really fun.
She's the best. And I just watched, did I talk about this on the show? I watched Beetlejuice.
Yes.
And she is the stepmother in Beetlejuice, and you can see that it is a very similar character, Moira and the stepmother in Beetlejuice.
All right, friends. I think that's it for Level Up. Why don't we pull out this dusty, dark compendium for a final time?
Blow the dust off the dark compendium.
I think we're all going to meet ironic ends.
Game into outer space. Blah, blah, blah.
Who wants to, Vanessa, how about you guide us through this final chunk of the Dark Compendium?
All right. As you'll recall last time, we were being sent to a monastery to recover Dr. Ingvar, who we believe knows something about the Pueblan sarcophagus.
Ankaran.
The Ankaran sarcophagus.
And he was kidnapped by... Who was he kidnapped by? Oh, right, the Society of Leopold people.
Yeah, the vampire hunters. And Bach is the head one and is just a terrible boss fight.
I liked that boss fight, actually. I thought it wasn't bad.
Did you do some sneaking around? Because, and I mentioned this last episode, I definitely have hit the point where I walk into the middle of the room and kill everyone, and then I just kill my way down because I just fucking can't anymore.
I did some sneaking. I snuck in the back way.
Could you seduce your way in, Vanessa, using your feminine wiles?
No, I didn't even try to talk to these guys because I feel like they're vampire hunters and probably they would try to hunt me.
So I guess it's a mandatory mechanic is that there's all these like laser explosive things and you have to like switch. Fortunately, they have a mode that switches between human and vampire. I don't know why they'd ever want it set to human. Like, what advantage does that have?
What are you talking about? Like, why would you, the better question is, why would you have that set to vampire? Like, what military fucking contractor are they buying this from, you know? Like, who is designing motion sensitive devices that are like, but these don't blow up humans. They blow up cold bodies.
They're getting emails from the Pope, so I think they have a lot of money.
But like, why wouldn't you if you had a fucking army? Why wouldn't you want bombs that you could attach to the wall that detect human heat and blow up? Like, that sounds pretty reasonable. I bet those exist in the real world.
But they're like wanting to kill vampires because they're vampire hunters.
Yes, but they do have a toggle switch to switch to human.
Which is, and there's also lots of tuna cans around so that you can throw them into rooms to get guards to walk through those laser beams, which is really fun.
Yes, and then they do blow up, and they're like, "Oh no!" And then they go on the alert and look around.
Like 0 days since last military-industrial weapon incident.
Double checks that the lasers are still set to vampire and not to human.
Who set this to human? Hans.
I'm sorry, boss. I wanted to do this as funny joke.
Hans. I can't stay mad at you.
Look, it's so hilarious.
Oh, Hans.
Hey, Hans, why don't you walk into that room? I swear.
Oh, Friedrich, you got me.
It's definitely still set to vampire. And also, so I only have 3 points in stealth, I think, but like as long as I was crouching, the guys would just walk around me saying, "Who's there? Who's there? Who's there?"
They can't
Who's
see
there?
you. You're a very good hidden vampire.
I just like try to push them out of the way so I can get by them. There is you have to go upstairs and get past some guards to get a key to go downstairs. There's a bunch of like journals talking about how the Pope is emailing them, kind of worried about the apocalypse. It's real silly. There's also like, have you ever used any of the books that give you skills? Because they don't work if you don't have any stats in research, and I never took any points in research.
Yeah, I put them in there just so I could read these books, and in the end, they weren't really worth it.
There's a bunch of like talismans and stuff that you get that are pretty worth it, though. Like, they'll really buff up your skills. And I like that. So eventually you get this key, you go downstairs. I got stuck here because it's not obvious how to get through the cellar. There's no like, usually like in a Half-Life game or something, they'll give you some idea of what object you have to move in order to get to the next point. In this, they don't have any signs that this one wine barrel is blocking an entrance.
Yeah, except that it sort of glittered for me because
did
my
it?
perception's high.
Interesting.
Oh, okay. That's what I did wrong.
Yeah, I had to go to a guide for this. It was really obnoxious.
Me too. I was pressing E on every wall I could find and still nothing. I did drain the blood of almost every vampire hunter. There's one room though where I was trying to sneak it. Like the one time they saw me is when I was trying to sneak through that one like lunchroom with all the vampire hunters in it, and they all saw me at once and just shot me.
Oh, poor John.
I know. It was very sad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just threw some tuna cans and got away. So you get downstairs and there's a couple of split paths, one leading to some jails, and in the FAQ it says that there's a quest here, but I don't know if this is like a Game Plus thing or you have to do some side quests to get Ash there. Did any of you rescue Ash from prison?
There was nobody in that prison for me.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Who is even Ash?
He's the one who runs the ass pole. He is Isaac's like paramour.
Oh, yeah.
I do like in that side room, there's a couple of guards standing there saying like, "Oh, no one will ever, why do we even bother? No one will ever get past us here." And then
Why are the vampire hunters all German? Just
I don't know. And the other guard is like, "Yeah, no one can hold their breath that long to get in through the side way."
Yeah.
And the other one's like, "What about vampires?"
But they know they're vampire hunters.
Yeah,
and they know vampires don't have to breathe.
Well, they say that too. It's like, well, what about vampires? Oh, yeah, I forgot, brother. You're right. I will be vigilant.
They talk a lot about how their boss is obsessed with LaCroix, too. And you find a journal where he's talking about him. It's like, I know he's in L.A. I'm gonna find him. He can't escape me.
He is obsessive. You walk through a pier, and then you see a little boat there, which is important for later reasons.
I've got to find that golden-haired prince among vampires, LaCroix.
He is so beautiful, I mean evil.
My laser is set to vampire, and only he can set it off.
I want your vampire body heat to make me explode.
Wouldn't it be your non-vampire body heat?
Well, it is set to vampire levels of body heat, which is like...
lack of body heat.
Yeah.
Set lasers to room temperature.
They do come off a different color with my thermal vision when I'm in protean mode. Vampires are blue, while humans are orange.
You have a better build than I have.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
There's a mage class. I should have done the mage class. It would have been probably much happier.
Oh, wow.
Just save it for your next playthrough.
Nope.
Oh, totes my goats, dude. Can't wait to replay this puppy.
So, Vanessa, who do you find at the end?
At the end, you find Grunfeld Bach himself.
Ooh.
He is the man we met in the Malkavian mansion.
He's the one who looks like Marshall from How I Met Your Mother.
Yes. So he's looking to do a little target practice.
I love this room. So it's like a Call of Duty style training course, except like the cutouts are all cartoon Draculas. They're amazing.
And werewolves.
This room was really fun. I wish the whole game had this kind of sense of humor.
Yeah, it was really cute. I liked the giant werewolves. The fight, on the other hand, was just like the slowest, most boring thing ever until later on in this game when the real slowest, most boring thing ever happens.
I don't know. I kind of like this one. I like he has some kind of magic ability, which I guess the Pope gave him.
He teleports,
yeah,
but he doesn't teleport all the way to where he needs to go because after he uses it, you can see him running to the place he's supposed to go to.
I just teleported here. I am magical.
I just had to like keep chasing him down, and then I'd get like 2 hits on him and like chip off some of his health, and it was just that forever.
Matthew, with
but
my,
I did
my protein
keep using.
build, I just wrecked him.
I did keep using a mixture of blood buff and potence, which really like helped eat up his health. But then
otherwise, you're impotent.
Yes, and my blood's not buffed. But I wasn't really keeping track, and I did use all of my blood in this fight. That's going to play into the next thing that happens.
I have a flaming crossbow that I'm pretty into. So I just use my flaming crossbow to crossbow him to death.
What?
You have a flaming crossbow?
I got a flaming crossbow.
Where'd you get that?
I don't remember.
Well, I know Yuki had a crossbow. Did you kill her and take it?
Maybe she gave it to me as a gift.
Maybe.
When you killed her and took it off of her corpse?
I didn't, and I'll prove it later in this episode.
All right.
So we find Dr. Ingvar.
Yeah, Johansson.
He talks like the chef from the Muppets.
Yeah, he's got some important things to tell you about the Assyrian goddess Lamastu. He's like, Herga, Perga, Pergi, Lamastu, Herbie.
I was really nice to him because I wanted to know all about the backstory of the sarcophagus.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
he tells you about a king who reigned for like 200 years. Mm-hmm. Or he's like, yeah, the legend just has this one name for like 2 centuries. So we think he just passed on his name or something.
What was that name again?
I don't remember.
It's Ra something. Let me look it up.
No, it's Mus something.
Oh,
I thought it was Mus something.
Mesopotamia. Methuselah.
Yeah, it's close to Methuselah, but it's not. It's like Methuselah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he drank the blood of his enemies, and his sarcophagus has this vampire goddess on it.
The doctor assumes that he drank the blood of his enemies because he had an illness that required him to drink the blood of his enemies, but does not believe in vampires.
He certainly does not.
I can't find the name of this dude, and I'm looking for it.
It's
So
lost
who
to the
saved
ages.
the doctor? Did you escort the doctor out to the boat?
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
That's good. I used up all of my magic, all of my blood, so as soon as this cutscene was over, my character frenzied and ate his head off.
Oh no.
I guess
Doctor.
It wasn't very nice. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to save you, and then the minute we stopped talking, I turned into a monster and tore his throat out.
Is your humanity low? Because I think that's necessary for frenzy, right?
No, if you run out of blood, you'll frenzy. I mean, my
okay.
humanity is like halfway-ish. I
Weren't
never
you
really
dr-
didn't bother to clean it up.
I was drinking blood off of everybody. Just all the time.
Yeah,
didn't-
I mean, I said it earlier. In this boss fight with Gunter or whatever his name is, I used all my blood up by using blood buff and potence because I was trying to hurry this fight along. So I ate him, and then I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out where the fuck I was supposed to go to get out of this stupid goddamn thing. It was really frustrating, and I had to do this boss a couple of times, which was also really fucking frustrating.
I just save tons because I'm just worried about something crashing or getting stuck somewhere or something. So the escorting him out of the I don't know what happens when you run out of time. Do you get like a fun cutscene or probably not?
It blows up. Yeah, screen goes red, and it's like you
Final
died.
death.
Yeah, it's
so
not fun.
I made my way out, and then you don't see. I guess the doctor you just get a little message saying the doctor was saved, and
Hooray for the doctor.
We did it.
and you can head back downtown to go say hi to Princey Man.
Mm-hmm. Our best friend. And he's so happy and proud of us.
Before you go see him, you get one chance to get the best armor in the game.
Oh.
If you go,
Tell me about that.
if you happen to still have Heather and didn't tell her to go home, you can go see her, and she's like, "Oh, I dreamt about you, and I dreamt you told me you loved me, and it was the best dream, but then you disappeared, and I was so worried about you that I got you this body armor." And you're like, "Thanks, baby."
Oh, goodness.
I think you could also have sex with her at this point, but no thank you.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah. Because there's one option that's like, there's one more thing I want you to do for me. And then ... But I didn't explore that particular line. So I got this body armor, and she comes back in the next little chunk. So so what happens when you talk to Princey Pooh?
We found out from the doctor that the key was stolen, the key to open the sarcophagus. Basically, we just need to find the key. It's not like a password or anything interesting. You just have to go fetch the key. And you go back and talk to the prince, and he has been attacked, right?
Yeah, there's rubble everywhere, and I was very, very concerned about our friend Chunky.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you were?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You don't want
What's
anything
wrong
bad
with
to
the
happen
two of you?
to Chunk. He's
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
He's
I
our
was
That
best
like,
character
Chunky.
was awful. Just terrible.
Fortunately,
Like, deeply offensive. Like, oh, boy. He was like, oof.
Fortunately, he
Oof.
ate a bad, was it enchilada or something?
Yeah.
And so he had diarrhea that kept him home that day.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And saved his life.
yes.
Chunky is a Sabat plant, obviously.
How dare you cast aspersions on Chunky?
His name's Chunk.
His name
So
is
he was
Chunk.
attacked by the Sabat and claims, he says, we'll tell the police think it's a terrorist attack, but it was the Sabat, and I want you to go kill the shit out of all of those motherfuckers. They're at the Hollowbrook Hotel. You can go take a fucking walk down the block to find my enemies and slay them.
Yes, and he wants us to kill each and every one of them.
Yeah, this was fine. You go to the hotel, and you take a weird, like...
There's just happens to be a little window cleaner elevator on the side of the hotel.
The hotel is closed, so you can't get into the door.
Yeah, that was the best. So you ride the little elevator up.
I wish there had been a cutscene of that.
It starts you on the top floor of this hotel, and you just kind of have to work your way down, killing everyone you see.
Now, there is a cutscene for those of us that kept Heather alive.
Oh.
Where Heather is there, and the vampires are like, "We have your ghoul." And she's like, "No, no, no." And then they murder her.
Oh, no, Heather.
Yeah, I guess I should have told her to run away, but I couldn't.
Yeah, that's what I told her to do. I was like, "Babe, if you hang around me, you'll come to a bad end. Mark my word." And I was right.
You were right. You were right.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the validation.
So you get all the way through this. There's a couple of boss fights. There's one room with like 4 vampires that are like zooming around you. And then there's that room with a lightning casting vampire.
There are also the big flesh ladies with giant breasts and...
Mm-hmm.
I didn't...
Yeah.
I missed that. Vanessa, there wasn't any flesh ladies in mine.
Oh,
the giant spider ladies?
Yeah.
How could there not have been? You have to kill everything.
There was one fat guy. That was it.
No.
Did you go down into like the basement area? Or not like basement, but like down the stairs?
I got to
the
room with Andre.
So perhaps this
that's
is
just
an
a bug.
add-in feature.
Well, yeah, it might be one of those things that was added later.
Yeah,
Why would they add that? Who wants more fucking monsters? Mine were janky, though, actually. Now that I think about it, mine were weird. The spider ladies did not fight back. They just appeared, and I killed them.
They had big, large bosoms. They're not wearing any clothes. And then they have a very long, pronounced gash right up their middle.
Oh boy.
They're very erotic.
I wasn't examining them that closely. Also, just showing things is not necessarily erotic, particularly not when you're putting them on horrifying monsters.
Well, it goes back to our discussion in the Hollywood episode of, is this supposed to be hot or not? Because sometimes I think it's supposed to be, but ugh. That's what I said, girl. Ooh. So you get to the bottom, and Andre is there, and he's like, I'm afraid you're going to open up the sarcophagus, so I must kill you all. And I keep telling him, no, buddy. Like, I want to do what you're doing. I'm on your side. Let's, like, destroy this sarcophagus. He's like, no, we can't open the sarcophagus. Like, but I want to destroy the sarcophagus.
He doesn't believe you.
Yeah.
Nobody can resist opening that ding-dang sarcophagus.
It's true. It does look pretty fun. And there's like a neat key that's like super complex mechanism kind of deal. I like that stuff. It's like real Indiana Jonesy.
Mm-hmm. This game's a real Uncharted.
So you murder him, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like way easier this time because he's not summoning those little piggy buddies this time with the buttholes.
The butthole monsters?
I didn't see any piggy buddies with the buttholes for the past 2 chunkers. I guess
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's a one-time thing.
Actually, that's good. Oh.
But Shigurl Ming Zhao shows up outside and is like, what's up? I fucking framed 9s.
Yeah. She shows you how she did this by turning into 9s.
Mm-hmm.
But then
and
speaking
you're like,
with her
oh my
voice.
God, I thought it was 9s the whole time, which I never thought it was 9s because her voice was weird when she was doing that and he was kind of shimmery. Mm-hmm. And you can be like, you seem weird.
I forgot 9s existed and any of the things that happened that that set this up. I was like, oh yeah, remember how we saw him kill somebody, I guess? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's like the reason for the blood war between the Camarilla and the Anarchs. So I decided, she's like, oh, I really hope we can be friends and work together. I was really polite to her. She's like, I apologize for any deception. I'm like, no, it's fine, lady. It's cool. Cause I went and asked her about it cause those Chang brothers told me there's a bond or a pact between the prince and her. And she's like, I know I didn't tell you before and I'm really sorry, but, I have the key. So if you want to like come hang out with me, we can like deal with that sarcophagus. And I really hope we can see each other again because you seem really cool. And I'm like, oh.
And you were like, can you make me into a ghost instead of a vampire?
She seemed real into that idea, actually. So,
and then she hops away.
Yeah, boing, boing, boing. I wish you saw her do that.
I swear to God, it would be so much better.
With that little Jackie O hat.
She believes you have a very special destiny.
Yeah, she does. I really like her. So I was like, okay, don't worry, I'll see you later, lady. And I went back to the prince to tell him how things went down. Vanessa.
Yeah, I did too. He did get very mad at me.
Why?
Well, I went to talk to him and I was like, hey, here's what happened. Also, this lady showed up and she was talking about your alliance and he was like, alliance? Moi? No, 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 no.
Yeah, he did the
Perish
same thing
thought.
to me and I did not buy it at all.
And then he was like, and I know you were working for the Anarchs. And
Oh, he didn't say that to me, but he was like, I can't believe that you would believe such a thing. We are such good friends. Clearly, you must see through her lies. And I was like, yeah, cool. What do you want me to do now?
What did he want you to do now?
He want me to go talk to the Anarchs and make an alliance so we can fight this treacherous kaijun together. It's not a kaijun. It's what's her name? What's Ming Zhao's species?
She is a Kuei-jin.
A Kuei-jin. We're going to fight them together. She's a Cajun.
Yes, she's a Cajun. She guarantees to come back from the dead. With me, since I had been working for the Anarchs, he's like, I know about your little traitorism, but it's cool. This means you'll be able to broker a peace deal between Nines and me. So how about you go find out where he is and tell him that the blood war is off and we can be besties and take down Ming Zhao together.
Yeah, and that seems like a good idea to me. I was nice to her, but nevertheless, she did trick me very badly into accusing an innocent man, and I don't appreciate that.
So I went to go see our bestest buddy, Damsel, the college student working at the Last Resort bar?
Mm-hmm.
And she was real sassy with me. I told her all the inside knowledge I knew, and she's like, wow, that'll really help us in the war against the prince. And you can be like... Well, he wants me to negotiate a peace treaty with Nines. Can you tell me what Nines is? And she's like, Cha. Oh, by the way, they spelled Cha, like back in the 90s when all the people from California would be like, Cha, right? They spell it TJA.
Oh. That's not right.
Is that how you would spell that, Nat?
No.
What's happening?
You know how like on TV and from California or Californians on TV in the 90s would be like cha.
Oh no, TJA?
They spell it TJA.
Oh, whatever. Ugh. Just another fucking point against this game. How dare you?
So, we head to Griffith Park, and Vanessa, I sent you a snapshot of the cable car to ride up, because that's where Nines is hiding. And we've mentioned before on the show, this is my favorite part of Los Angeles. I love the observatory.
You must have been so excited to be going there.
It's like a mini version of the observatory. That place is pretty big, and it's 2 rooms in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take a cable car up. I sent a still because my character just started floating slowly up as the cable car rose and then just went through the top of the cable car. It was really great.
He's just trying to get a better view.
I guess so. I was worried he was going to fall out because the game was breaking so hard with the basic idea of a cable car ride. But I made it to the top.
Oh, okay. At the top is the
Werewolves.
It was supposed to be my turn to talk.
Woo!
Nines is up there. He's been hiding out, and he's like, so the prince wants to parlay, and you explain about Ming Zhao, and it turns out he really hates that kind of pseudo-vampire because they killed the last probate, or whatever it's called, primogen of the Bruja. So Bruja has bad blood with them, so he's willing to go talk to the prince, but then come a forest fire.
Ooh.
And Nine starts freaking out, and all of your dialogue options are like, what's wrong with you, you wuss? It's just a fire, dummy. Why are you being so dumb? We can handle a fire, idiot. And then he's like, no, you don't understand. We have to run. And you're like, run from a stupid fire? What's wrong with you? It's just a fire. Which doesn't really make sense because vampires can be consumed by fire.
Yeah, this is the weirdest thing that happens in this game.
As we have seen.
Literally, the air around you is turning orange, and for some reason, it just will not let your characters say, okay, let's get away from this fucking fire.
Yeah. No, your character's just like, oh, I'm Nines and I'm afraid of fire. But then Nines explains that the fire will attract the local residents, which are, in fact, werewolves. And then you're like, oh, I'm not afraid of a werewolf. We'll just shoot it. Oh, what's wrong with you? And he's like, no. Werewolves are impervious to bullets. You can't hurt them. All you can do is run away. And as he finishes saying that, a giant werewolf appears and sweeps him up and knocks him off a cliff.
Oh, this was so good.
Yeah, because Nines is like, hurry, we have to get in that building. And then the werewolf is just like, thwomp.
and just like careens him off a cliff. It's really good.
And that's the end of Nines Rodriguez.
Yep, he's just like, watch your back!
So, I did read a guide. I was curious if you could actually kill this werewolf, and you can.
Oh, how can you kill it?
See, you have 3 minutes before the cable car, because someone evilly sends the cable car down and you have to wait for it to come back up. So you have to like survive against this werewolf, which is not that hard because there's a couple of parts that it just doesn't go to.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to the back shed behind the observatory, there's a power switch you can turn on. Then you can go out to the observatory, open up the big roof things in front of the big telescope, and then lure the werewolf there, and then close them on him, and it crushes the werewolf to death, and you get some extra experience.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
What a brutal end for our werewolf friend.
He wasn't our friend. He was trying to murder us.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he a big hairy boy, and he do a lot of damage with his hits, and then I don't understand what happened here. I just like hit a button, and I heard... Like, did he get run over by a car? What happened?
Oh, did you kill the werewolf too?
Yeah.
If you turn around, you can see him getting crushed, but there's quite a good animation of it getting stuck between the doors and
I think my game fucked up because his body was out in the woods. So I assumed that he just got hit by a truck.
Well, I did not know I could kill him, so I did just run around in circles, playing keep away.
Yeah, it's pretty dope when you do that. If you run into the observatory, he literally like tears the doors to pieces, the door frames to pieces, to fit his massive self through. It was pretty rad.
Yeah, I kind of like this little, even if it was janky and broken, it was still pretty fun. So eventually,
weird googly eyes.
You make your way down, you down the cable car, and hopefully don't float out of it. And you get to the bottom, and who is there but Smiling Jack, my favorite character.
Yeah, our friend from the tutorial.
Bender.
Yeah. And he is very happy to see you. He's glad he got you first, because there is a, like, all vampires APB on you?
There's a blood hunt.
I guess all AVB because you're a vampire.
Yeah. He's like, the prince says that you're working against the Camarilla. You're in super big trouble. Get into my dope sports car.
And he drops you off. He's like, I know a cab driver. You'll really like him. But he's on the other side of Santa Monica. So you have to.
Oh, yeah, because he takes you to your apartment in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Where you spend the night with him.
Ooh. On that fuzzy chest.
Mm-hmm. And that bear-stained mattress.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, keep that gross leather vest on. You look like Jim's dad.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, you got to get across town, but every vampire that ever was will be looking for you out there because tonight's the night the vampires have their blood hunt.
Yes, and everybody is still pretty blind unless you go right next to them, so you can just like crouch your way through not fighting anyone if you'd like.
Yeah, I liked this part because it's all the character models from the character generation at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like generic Eponias, generic Chad Cemeteries, generic Matthew Vampire Sants.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you remember the whole point of this game, the Masquerade?
Yes, I do.
You know how it's about not being vampires in front of people in public?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, they're not being vampires. They just look like people hanging around with weapons in the street.
Even the Nosferatu that are hanging out there?
They just look like people in rubber masks.
Uh-huh.
Well, it doesn't seem like there are any people out on the street, though, so maybe they said there was a downed gas line or something.
Oh, they pulled a supernatural to get people out of...
They pulled a supernatural. Of course they did.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. So then you walk around you have to go through the parking garage because my usual alley shortcut is blocked, which even though it's like a short dumpster that even John Brandon, the real person, could climb over.
The vampire can't do it.
The vampire, well, I could like jump on it, but then like the game glitched out when I tried jumping on it.
Look, there are rules, John. You don't just jump on top of a dumpster or a taxi cab. I've noticed that you can't jump on top of that either.
So you get to the cab, and it still seems like the same driver as before.
It's not. It's a mysterious stranger.
Ooh. And he's like, which ending do you want me to take you to?
Yeah, so the cab driver says, he tells you a lot of things. He's like, vampire, like the politics of it all, that's not really my thing. I just know that the blood of Cain has to guide you. And where do you feel safe?
Ooh.
I'd like to tell you gentlemen about where I felt safe first.
The arms of the prince.
And then we can get into where y'all felt safe. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah.
So I said that I felt safe with the Camarilla, but I didn't think that the prince was the person to keep running it because he broke my heart. He was my best friend. He was my prince.
What did you do? How did you
I
break
did
it?
everything
What did you
that
do?
he asked me to, and then he put a blood hunt on me.
But
And
maybe
he
it was a
told-
misunderstanding.
He don't let me when I betrayed him, and he tried to burn me.
But you can still
in a
side with the
forest
prince, right?
Fire. Yeah, but no way.
Okay.
You get one chance, baby.
You know what, Vanessa? I'm glad you stood up to that loser.
Yeah,
'Cause-
he sucks, and I can do better.
Exactly. Now let's talk about it while we watch some Christmas movies with cookie dough ice cream and talk about how boys are mean.
Oh, thank you, John. What would I do without you?
Meanwhile, Jim and I are going to go comment on a message board about incels. Excuse me. Meanwhile, Jim and I are going to go comment on a message board for incels. What I meant to say.
So we talk it out, and he's like, okay, so you like the Camarilla, but you don't like the prince. Maybe you could overthrow the prince if you had a backing of one of the primogens. And I was like, what about that bald guy I met in that weird house? He talked about how he was not loyal to the prince over the Camarilla. And he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yep, take me to Weirdo Baldy Man.
Wow.
I'm a weirdo baldy man.
Yeah, maybe that's why I felt so safe with him. So I think I'm the only one who met him of
No,
us.
I went and I got lost in his mystery dungeon.
Yeah, he has a mystery dungeon, which is pretty rad. It's exactly the kind of thing that I'm into, so I wanted to go to his weirdo house. And I did.
I like his house because it's non-Euclidean.
What do you mean?
If you don't take the right way out, you keep ending up back in his den. Like if you try to explore other areas of the house, it like flashes and suddenly you're back at his room.
Oh, so in a Lost Woods.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, we had a discussion at the very beginning of the game where he's like, I'm loyal to my clan and to the Camarilla. And I said to him in that order, and he's like, heh. And I was like, what about the prince? And he's like, princes come and go. Mm-hmm. So I went to him and he was like, okay, so you want to overthrow the prince? I guess that seems like a pretty good idea. He's gotten way too obsessed with the sarcophagus. We don't know what's in it. It's a very bad idea to open it. So first you have to go get Ming Zhao and take care of her. And then you have to go and fight the prince.
I didn't do this part. So what happens when you fight Ming Zhao?
Oh, Matt, you fought Ming Zhao, right?
I did. I went down to Mingjiao Town. I mean, it's just a, let me preface this by saying, gang, the level design in this game is hot trash.
Well, where did you say that you felt safe, Matt?
I didn't say that I felt safe. So my decision was to kill everyone.
Ooh, go your own way?
Yeah, I decided to go my own way.
And
slaughter the prince and Ming Zhao. So I went, the cab took me to Ming Zhao's, I don't know where the fuck it was, but it was like a temple. I guess it was that temple in Chinatown. Anyway, and it's like a great, it's just like we're going to talk about with Prince Boy's Tower. It's like a super long maze.
It's a super long maze with a lady
poorly designed,
at the
and
end.
it's hard to tell where you're going or what you're doing, and you just kind of wander around and hope that you open the right door.
Do you stake her heart? Do you kill her in the face?
Yeah, eventually, the game at this point decides to introduce, in this level, did nobody else do this? Is that...
I didn't do this.
I did it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I showed up, and my friend Yuki was there.
Yuki? Oh, I love
You remember?
Yuki.
Yeah, I fought that hammerhead shark with her. And so she's like hanging out in the corner of the temple garden. And I was like, oh, hey, Yuki, funny story. I'm going to go in there and kill everybody. Do you want to come with me? And she's like, heck yeah, let's go kill some vampires.
Nice.
So
Does she know you're a vampire?
She does.
Yep, she knows.
But she believes that I can rise above my nature because of my very high humanity level. So, yeah, we went in tag team style.
Yay!
And what I did is I utilized my sneak a lot, and she attracted the attention of the enemies. And then I snuck around back and hit them with my sword.
I love
Nice.
Did die.
I love the stealth kill with the sword. It's really nice. It's really cool. It's very Buffy.
Cool.
But she didn't come into the temple proper with me. She waited outside.
Ah.
So at the temple, of course, goes down 10 floors or something and takes for like everything in this game. It's got a basement of a supervillain basement. It's got a supervillain's lair underneath it, and at the bottom of it, the game decides to introduce puzzles.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So there is a puzzle where you have to push some statues onto some switches to get a floor to slide open.
This puzzle was ridiculous. You know how how in
Well, is that
most...
because they don't have a mechanic to make this actually work properly, and never once before this introduced the mechanic in the game?
Yes.
Is this like
So you know how most push puzzles you can grab something and pull it around or push it? This thing, you approach these statues, and there's a sort of indicator, like saying push, and you can hit the E button and nothing happens. What you do have to do is just sort of slam your body into it over and over again until it scoots across the floor.
The walking in this game is already like you're skating on ice. So, I mean, you just kind of ice skate your way into the statue and push it onto the switch. I mean, it's not hard to figure out, but it certainly is fucking annoying. And then once you get down here, the game introduces another puzzle, which is that you have to collect 4 objects and then arrange them on the proper platforms. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you're supposed to know what platforms they go on. I had to look it up in a guide.
I noticed that the 4 platforms were different when I first went into the room. And then I noticed that the platform that these statues are on, in 4 separate rooms, are all different. So
Ooh.
I just remembered what kind they were on, and I matched them. And that's how I opened the Mystic Portal.
Good observation skills. There's a neat little scene here where a portal forms in the air, and you have to jump into it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
Are you going to the
this
land
takes
of
you-
wind and ghosts?
Yeah, you're going to... No, it's more like a sauna, but indoors.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
an
some
indoor
saunas
sauna.
are indoors, but like an underground sauna.
Like a bathhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like one that's buried 10 floors below the earth with no entrances or exits.
Oh.
It's
One
pretty
thing I
creepy.
did like in this dungeon was there are these, what are they called? Shogi screens?
Yep.
Shogi
Sure.
screens?
I believe
And
you.
the paper screens. And people do jump out of them as you walk past with their katanas out.
Did you enjoy that? Because I did not enjoy it. There's also a bunch of traps in the walls and stuff, but they're all about as poorly designed, John, as the traps and blades and stuff in the research laboratory
In
where
the
the man
Food
was trying to
Syndicate?
research us. So it's horrible.
I love
kept getting,
research.
like, caught by blades, and they would sling me around, and it was terrible.
You know, I think the bad ending I got somehow is okay because I skipped this dungeon.
Yep, it's god awful. So
But then we get a great boss battle.
Yep, then Ming Zhao is there, and I don't remember the conversation. I don't think I talked to her much. I think I just was like, fuck you, I'm going to kill you now.
Do you call her a bitch?
Probably. Good chance. Vanessa, how did your conversation with her go? Did you talk to her at all, or did she just attack you?
Yeah, I was just like, hey, sorry things didn't work out. Maybe we can still be friends. And she's like, no, I thought you had a grand destiny. And I said, well, maybe my destiny is to take you out. And she's like, you suck. I am going to kill you now, but I will not do it in this form. I am going to turn into a squid. And that is what she does.
Radical.
Yep, she ports in a few more, and then she also ports in a bunch of tiny ones towards the end of the fight. They were all over the place, and it was really annoying, but I just focused on whacking away at her, and her tentacle limbs fly off, which is pretty cool.
I think that as her limbs get hacked off, they turn into those little guys.
That would make sense. That makes
And then
sense.
if you don't kill them quickly, they turn into big guys. So I did hack her up.
Yep, I hack her up too, and then you jump back through the portal, and that's that. You slaughtered an entire you genocided in LA. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Game.
And then it's off to Prince Tower.
Yep. So you did this, you had basically the exact same ending as me, I guess. No,
Yeah.
you had more stuff going on. I just went and I was like, no, I'm going to kill everybody. And then he took me there, and I killed her, and then they got back in the cab, I guess, and it took me to the Prince's Tower. Yeah, because I had one more conversation with him where he was like, it was giving me the option to stop and go to, stock up, I guess.
I'm pretty sure Princess Tower is called Paisley Park.
Okay.
And so then it's off to Paisley Park, I guess. So what was, at this point, what were you all doing? John, you were going to confront him and kill him?
Yeah.
For the Anarchs? Vanessa,
No.
you were, no.
For Ming Zhao, my bestie.
Oh, okay.
That's
wow.
why you didn't have to kill Ming
I
Zhao,
went
because
to go
you sided with her.
meet up with Ming Zhao, and she's like, I knew you'd come back. I knew I had a special destiny for you. I'm like, yeah, you seem really cool. And I just like all this stuff you're into, and it's really interesting. And I just want to like find out more about you and your culture, but in like a respectful way. And she's like, that's great. You know, we love this kind of attention, and I will tell you all about my culture so you can appropriate it all you want, Johnny. And I'm like, great. We're going to have fun. I'm going to be your special boy, and we're going to have a great time.
So John betrayed his entire people, literally his own species. In
Yeah,
this
the cab
game.
driver's like, you are betraying your species and will be an outsider in the land of the Kuei Jin. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
And Vanessa, so let me get this straight. You cut a deal with one of the Camarilla and then went and killed Ming Zhao, and now you're going to kill the prince? Is that your mission here?
No, I'm just going to go ask him to step down because his tenure has come to an end.
Okay. And I am going to kill the prince. All right. So we all get to Princey Boy's tower, and it's terrible.
The worst. You know how games give you like moral choices and event horizons and good and bad things you have to do. And sometimes you really feel horrible about the choices you have to make.
You know what? I went for the kill 'em all ending, and I didn't have to do this.
I had to, I talked to Chunk, and Chunk's like, oh, you're not allowed in here. You have to go. And I'm like, buddy, we're friends. Just let me by. And he's like, no. I'm going to have to take you down by force if you don't leave right now. And I don't want to do this because we're besties. And I'm like, we are besties. We've had a lot of fun together. How about you just let me by? And he's like, I'm going to have to kill you. And I tapped that melee button, just a little tippity tap, just to like, I just wanted to push him away so I can get on that elevator. And he exploded.
I talked to him as well.
Chunk!
And then I went around to the back of the desk and I drained most of his blood. And then I left him standing there in a stupor.
I just
Vanessa-
told him to go home. And he did.
Well, I don't have any speech abilities, so I had to.
Now,
to kill
Vanessa,
my
when
best
you
friend.
told him to go home, be honest. Did you tell him what did your character say? Because I bet it was something like, you're having another bout of diarrhea, buddy.
No, I just said to him, like, look, Chunk, this job is not worth dying for. And he was like, well, I guess that's true. And I said, yeah, live to eat another day, buddy.
God, you're so mean.
So you hop in the elevator, like you always do, but this time it take a long time. It does not jump to a loading screen. There is like a scene of being in the elevator for like an additional minute that really made me think the game had fucked up again. But then the elevator stops and the doors open halfway onto some random floor. It did not take you to the penthouse.
Yeah, which makes sense. The prince is not looking for company right now, so he does stop the elevator. And you're in some cubicles.
It's great. This is a great level, guys. So we're gonna run through some office buildings, and then we're gonna go through a food court. The game's gonna introduce another new mechanic, platforming.
This was so bad.
So I love that we are in like this gothic demon tower, and one of the last places we go to in this super dark, edgy demon game is a food court.
The prince does stop you about halfway up by taking over one of the guards psychically and telling you to fuck off, but what happens?
Well,
then
he's
he
got a
tries to
bomb.
blow you up with a bomb, but you can, if you kill him fast enough, you can take it and blow open a wall.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what really leads you into the food court, which we needed to get into.
What happened in mine is I put the bomb into the elevator and it made the elevator work good.
What?
Yeah,
That's not how bomb go.
I know.
Yeah. That's what happened with me too.
There's like a door I didn't realize you could take to skip this whole fight too.
Oh no, there is.
Yeah, if you have lockpicking, you can go through like
Oh
a door.
yeah. Yeah, I gave up on
But
those
I
skills
went
and
in
just
through
went
the
all melee.
wrong way because I went up the elevator and then like got off of that door and then I was like, oh, I'm back at the front. I could have skipped this whole thing. Gah!
I didn't take the bomb because I was very scared of him. And also I was confused because this guy has LaCroix's face.
Kind of. I think it's a different character model, but not that different.
I just thought it
I
was
think that they
LaCroix.
like.
Me too.
I think they superimpose his face over this face.
Oh, it's like an Agent Smith.
Yeah, it's a weird
Okay.
looking.
Well, anyway, I was very scared, so I just ran away from him while the countdown timer counted, and then he did blow himself up.
So you get to the food court and you get to jump up the statue, there's platforms. Oh boy, this game.
What I really noticed about the food court, which includes in a parody of A&W, S&M, huh? Get it? Food for deviants. Oh, there's a bunch of SWAT members that like crash through the window to fight you in this area, but they crash down and then stare at the wall in a row.
Yeah.
They just like kind of like line up.
They're like, where's the vampire?
That's not what happened for me at all. They all attacked me.
So I just snuck around them and then picked the lock on the door behind them and went upstairs. I missed this whole, like, yeah, there's a very conspicuous art installation at this beautiful food court where there's obvious platforms on it. It looks really silly.
Yeah, and I did jump up it. It took me, I don't know, 8 tries.
Yeah, I tried twice and then I turned on no clip for a minute and flew up. Hey, by the end of this game, I was turning on no clip every few minutes and just kind of breezing around things.
I just imagine you flying up like the characters at the end of The Witch. Just as you float up.
That's what vampires should be able to do anyway. But yeah, this game is not built for platforming. I don't know why they did this. I could definitely see you getting stuck here and being so frustrated that you just quit the game.
Just lockpick the door, Vanessa.
It's just just like the introduction of random puzzles in the fucking last dungeon we did. It is just the worst goddamn game design imaginable. It's terrible. It's like shamefully bad. I would be embarrassed if I worked on this game. So,
well, then you would have also worked on Fallout New Vegas, and would you be embarrassed about that?
I guess truthfully, no. So it's time for the big boss fight, gang. We climb up the food court statue through the broken glass roof, fight some SWAT guys, and there's a tube.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out I didn't fight those SWAT guys. I just crouched around them. But, yeah, the tube, I didn't understand how to climb it. Like, I was pressing E, I was pressing F, I was pressing all the buttons. You just have to, walk through it.
To, waddle up it.
Yeah.
Do you ever go third person when you're crouched? I don't know how bad it looks on your character models, but my character model looks literally just like he is trying really hard to walk with his knees a little bit.
Yeah.
It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. I had so many great cutscenes towards the end of the game where my character would be in the cutscene and would be in a ballerina pose or fucking sliding to the side the whole time.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some sliding.
This game fucking fell to pieces. Anyway, there's a tube, and you have to you learn that for the first time in this game, there's a tube that you can duck into and climb up. Sure. And
hey, Matt, do you think when the prince goes to the food court, do you think he's like, let's hold court? Get it?
Oh, God.
I'm going to get some Sabaros.
I do think that's what he does because he's a tiny little weirdo. And he creeps me out, and I can definitely see him down there let's hold court. So you climb up this tube and you walk out into like a room. And look who's there. It's our old best friend, the
Chunk?
sheriff.
No, you killed Chunk.
I
And he's
did.
not coming back.
I don't know that we've talked about the sheriff much. The sheriff is a giant... Is he a Nosferatu?
No.
He a giant bat-ish looking monster.
Yeah.
Is he? Oh,
Yeah.
John
Let's
learned
talk.
some information. So, John,
Well, I talked to the prince about the sheriff one time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I picked him up in Africa back in the slave days. That's why he's got like a slave collar. It's real bad. I wish you could have like recruited him." And he's like the big, tall, doesn't talk type. And when he takes off his shirt, daddy ripped.
ooh.
He looked.
Yeah. He also has a Buster Sword. He has Cloud's fucking
I know,
Buster
it's
Sword.
amazing. I actually kind of liked this terrible series of boss fights, even if you watch our my stream of it, which I've saved to YouTube, you will see me swearing at a bat monster for about half an hour.
Yep. So you fight the sheriff, and he has a Buster Sword. He just basically teleports behind you constantly. That's all he did for me.
Yeah.
He teleports behind you, and you turn around and attack him. And he tries to hit you with his Buster Sword. So eventually, he's not tough. You beat him down, and he turns into a giant bat, a flesh-colored bat, which is extra creepy. Like it's like a skin bat, not like a bat. Anyway,
He turns into a Chiropteran marauder.
Of course
Thank you
he
very
does.
much.
oh boy.
Yeah.
And then you get to fight him as a bat. He breaks through the roof. He clutches you in his claws and breaks through the roof and tosses you onto the roof. And there are 2 spotlights up there that you can turn on.
Oh.
And if he runs into them, if he crosses the path of the beam, he will fall on the ground. And you can smack him a whole bunch of times.
Oh.
There's also a
Or
cop up
alternately, you
there
can
that will like shoot at the bat.
Yes. I killed him, actually.
Well,
I killed everybody. There's also 100. There's a wave after wave of like, I don't know what they are. Some sort of
they're
vampire.
the same form as me, my war form, where I turn into a
Yeah.
Batman. So, yeah, I have some. I didn't realize this part about. I missed the spotlight, so I didn't have Matt's trick, and I didn't put any points into firearms. But fortunately, I picked some up because Vanessa like warned me that you might need some guns later. So I didn't know the spotlight trick, so I couldn't use my melee on him. So I had to I fortunately had some points left over and got 3 dots into firearms, and then slowly shot him over the course of like 10 minutes, and then that killed him.
I tried that out as well, and it was a nightmare. I was doing like 3 damage per bullet or something. It was a joke.
I had one gun that was doing 36 damage.
The rifle
no,
does
it
good
was like
damage,
this-
but
It was this
slow.
like handgun I found. I think I got it in the Hollybrook
Oh,
Hotel.
I think I know what gun that is. Where
I
did
got one in the
get that?
Hollybrook Hotel. It's like a 357 Magnum style thing, and it was really good
Yeah.
against him. But your way sounds way better and smarter, and I'm bad at looking around for clues and alternate
What?
Well,
ways.
I also shot
What
him. I
a Vanessa
used the
did, yes.
gun that I got from our German friend. His special sniper rifle.
Grunfeld.
Yes, I used Grunfeld's own gun to take down the abominations.
Oh, that sounds like
Flesh
a good
bat.
idea.
I used your
Skin bat.
sniper
Excuse me.
rifle.
That sounds like a wunderbar idea.
It only does 1 shot at a time, but it's powerful.
I was like, oh, maybe I can just kill those 2 and then concentrate on shooting at the guy. But if you kill them, immediately 2 more come. So that sucked. That's mostly what I was swearing about.
Sometimes the bat drops police officers on you
Yeah, or cars.
or cars.
Yeah. I didn't have to drop any cars on me. He did drop some police officers on me.
That was pretty great. So I guess this is the last boss of the game, right?
Yeah, it's the last real boss of the game.
So he dies and then like dissolves, and cut to you walking into the prince's room.
Yes. He was very upset with me because I did storm his tower and kill everyone. He tried to use dominate on me, but I was like, that doesn't work on me anymore, baby. We are broken up, and dominate is only for consensual adults, and I do not consent to what is happening right now. Then he cried, and he dropped to his knees, and he cried like a little baby, which was very satisfying for me.
Come back to me, Vanessa. You can hold food court anytime you please.
Yeah, essentially. But then my magician friends teleported in, and they were like, "What's up? It's us, the magician vampires."
Oh, no wonder you joined them.
Obviously. They're like, "We are."
Yeah, that's the clan I should have been.
We are here to kill you. That's the clan that the personality test put me in, so I felt some affinity for them. And they did kill the prince. And then I'm like, well, goodbye, LaCroix. I did love you, but now you're dead. Now
How'd they kill him?
I don't recall.
Probably like a cool spell.
Probably a cool spell. And I did at one point sort of imply to LaCroix that I was going to be prince now, which I don't know if that's true or not. I could have just been talking out my fangs. So then I was like, well, what about this sarcophagus? And the guy's like, some things are best left a mystery, as I once told you. And then you get
Life is a mystery.
Cut to the warehouse at the end of Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they do wheel the sarcophagus through there and put it in the warehouse amongst the rows and rows of shelves. And he says, just, forget it. Some things you should forget to time. Just forget it. And that's the end of the game.
Ooh, that's not my end of the game.
John?
What about Matthew's?
Johnny.
Yeah,
okay,
John,
we'll
go
with
first.
Mine. And I do any of you know what happens if you open it, just out of curiosity?
Matt's going to tell us.
Okay, cool.
I sure do.
Okay, so I'm so happy for that, Matt. Because I deliberately didn't look up what happens because I'm really curious. I sided with my bestie, Ming Zhao. So I did not go through that dungeon. I did not have to solve any puzzles. Went straight to Paisley Park.
Traitor.
Through the food court after killing Chunk. And killed Batman and got to the top. And
Everybody knows you did those things. We've been talking about it for the last 30 minutes.
The Kwai Jin show up, and they hold the prince hostage. He's just like frothing at the mouth, angry at me, and calling me a traitor. He does not beg for his life from the Kwai Jin. He's just like, do it, and they do. They chop his head off with a katana.
Wow.
My
And
special boy.
Your special boy dissolves into a pile of ash, and they're like, now, we cannot leave you around. You're not one of us. And I'm like, what? But baby, we're going to be friendsies. She's like, no, we are not friendsies.
Oh.
You are a vampire. You are not of our blood. We cannot have you be my champion. However, I'm not going to kill you.
Oh.
I'm going to make sure you live a long, undisturbed life. I'm like, that sounds nice. I'm going to chain you to this sarcophagus and then dump you in the ocean.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
And that is the long, lonely life of Claudius Scares. Sinking to the bottom of the ocean, tied to a sarcophagus, living a painful life. Maybe with a buddy. I'm tied to a best friend who's in that box. Yeah. So that's the sad, ironic ending of Claudius Scares.
Oh, poor Claudius. It's just like when it happens to Angel on Angel, or when it happens to Dean on Supernatural.
But Dean doesn't die, does he?
No, he lives a long and solitary life at the bottom of the ocean. Now they pull him back out somehow. I don't remember exactly.
Oh, okay. All right. Matthew.
So I went to the prince's house, and I went into the prince's room, I guess. I guess it's like his bedroom. I don't know. And he's in there, and he gets all mad at me, and he tries to dominate me, and I told him to go fuck himself. And then he tries to attack me, and I stab him right in the head.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty brutal. You just, I think you stab him, through the back of the throat.
Jeez.
And and then I decided, it gives you the option of what to say to him. And I said, I think I'm going to go open my sarcophagus and see what's inside.
Yeah!
So you walk over, and there's a cutscene where the key goes into the sarcophagus. The whole time, the prince is on the floor, coughing up blood and, begging and pleading that for you to not open it because he wants to open it for himself because it's his right. And, it's all really obnoxious stuff that makes me really happy that I stabbed him through the back of the head. And then the sarcophagus opens. And inside is a whole fuckload of explosives and a note that says, I don't remember what the fucking note says. Vanessa probably knows. But basically it says fuck you. And it's from Jack, our old friend Bender. And then it cuts to, there's an explosion and the top of the building blows off and is burning. And the camera zooms over to Griffith Park, and there, by the escalator thingy, whatever the fuck that was called.
Cable car?
By the cable car is Jake sitting in a lawn chair with an ancient mummy in a lawn chair next to him. It's mummified. It is not alive.
Uh-huh.
And he is talking to it and is sucks about the kid, but blah, ha, ha, that fucked everybody up. And he's you sure were, you were right, buddy. All I had to do was fucking drop the sarcophagus into town and everybody lost their minds. And that's the end of the game. And it ends with the credits scrolling over a burning Prince's Tower.
That's amazing.
I'm so happy.
So Jack was telling me that the only reason he thinks the prince wanted that sarcophagus was because he was going to commit diablerie and become the most powerful vampire by drinking the blood of a Blurnagalurp.
Yeah, an ancient
Antediluvian.
Antediluvian.
But I guess he was making that up since he was the one who orchestrated this the whole time.
Well, I think that Jack wanted LaCroix to open the coffin.
Oh.
And then he was going to blow him up. And his dream came true in Matt's version.
Yep. We did it, gang. Old Matthew Vampire Zant is no more, and I'm not gonna fucking miss him.
Oh boy. So I guess that's the end of the game. There's a couple of side quests we didn't talk about.
I had a side quest.
Ooh.
Yep. I don't know that I would say I had a side quest so much as I started a side quest. I drank the blood of a man on the street, and then I threw it all up, and the game was like, "You're fucking diseased now, motherfucker!"
Oh no!
So that was pretty fucked up.
Well, that's just if you drink the blood of a diseased person, it's like a status effect for a while, isn't it? Or is there a quest involved?
There was a quest. There were not any status effects. There was a quest. It said, you should probably go talk to those CDC guys. And I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, it's fine. No, you should really see a doctor. Pus should not be coming out of there. You're like, I'm okay.
Yeah, it's probably no big deal.
And then you end up like Al Capone, crazy and talking to yourself.
Mm-hmm. And dodging taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I did a side quest for Beckett. He told me that he sent me an email, and he's like, "Hey, it's Beckett. My friend's missing. Please go find my friend." And you go to Santa Monica. You have to look for him in the tobacco store. And there he left a note that says, I saw this Sabbat vampire around. I'm going to go to the pier and look for them. You go to the pier. There's a big splotch of blood. another note that says, like, the Sabbats are hanging out at the library. I have a secret entrance, so go to the library and check out what they're doing there. The library is that large building downtown behind the gates.
Oh, yeah, the one with, like, the gargoyle-y things? Yeah.
So I did go into the library. There's some guards in there, so I snuck around. You have to find a library card to access the computer. And then once you do, you can activate this switch. There's a gallery, and you go find the right painting and press the switch, and then a staircase opens up, and I went down the bottom of the stairs. And there were some vampires doing some kind of spell on Beckett's friend. I did fight these vampires and defeated them, and that was the end of that. I believe it's a restored quest, so it didn't really have a lot to it. But it put you in that library space, which makes sense that it would be something and not just be this giant building in the middle of the level.
It did seem a little conspicuous. I did do, did we talk about the Mr. Ox and his need for eyes?
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Because that was fun, except that I was trying to do that and the Yuki quest at the same time, and they're in the same building, so you can't talk to Yuki when that quest is going on, and I was super confused.
Yeah, I was confused about that too. It was like, why can't I go into Yuki's portion anymore?
But getting those eyeballs was great. And I also did the quest with the locker.
Which is that? Really, we haven't talked about that one.
Oh, well, that's the follow-up quest with Mr. Ox. He's like, I want you to be the bad fortune farmer. And I'm like, well, okay, that sounds fun. He's like, I'm being paid to put this talisman into a locker that will bring bad fortune to someone who is very hated in Chinatown. And I'm like, oh, say no more. That sounds really fun. So, and also, like, there's dialogue options making fun of his English.
Oh, cool.
And there's dialogue options making fun of Yuki's English.
Nice.
Which is freaking horrible.
Well, John, if you're role-playing as a racist, that's not like you doing racist things. That's just the role play, so it's totally fine. And
So,
it's
I went through
realistic because there are racists in the world, and don't you want to be realistic?
I did not choose them. I was nice. I went through those stairs that Matt found to the massage parlor, because that takes you basically right to the locker room. And he drew a big black circle on the locker of this one guy. I opened it up, put the little pouch in there, or a talisman in there. I close it, and then this large man comes at me. He's like, hey, that's my locker. What are you doing? I'm like, oh, sorry. And, well, there's a bunch of options where you can make fun of his weight and stuff. And then he's like, no, you can't be sorry. I'm going to kill you. And you say like, no, I don't want to kill you. I'm leaving now. But he doesn't take no for an answer, and you punch him once and he goes flying. And that's the end. And so I went back to Mr. Ox. I'm like, so the guy caught me putting stuff in his locker and I killed him. And he's like, see, that is very bad luck.
I did this quest, but I ran away from him because I didn't want to fight a human. I was worried I would kill him. And so I went back to Mr. Ox and I was like, yeah, he caught me, but I ran away. And he's like, oh, well, maybe it will bring him bad luck eventually.
I think he wanted you to kill him. I really like Mr. Ox. Apparently, if you try to kill Mr. Ox, he disappears in a puff of smoke.
Oh, interesting.
He's like a mystical creature.
I'm not surprised.
So, I really like all the Chinatown side quests. I think they're the best part of the game. They're well written. They're really funny. Like, I mean, other than the weird racist options that you can choose, I thought they were just charming.
Yeah.
Yuki's great.
Mm-hmm.
I want a game about Yuki.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But maybe not written by white guys who hate women.
Yeah. Written by a Japanese woman would be best.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so that's it. There are no bullshit minigames. Let us move on to Squarely Against.
as it's our final episode, we sort of talk about the whole game, right?
Squarely against. This game is terrible. I've talked about it for 5 episodes, so I don't really want to go on a rant about it. But it's not good, and that's not just because it's broken, but it's also problematic, and it's also just terrible. It's awful. It should be ashamed of itself for being what it is. What about you, John?
I'm squarely against this game. I think there are some fun parts. I think all the there's a lot of really fun side quests, but the dungeons are so broken and bad.
It's the worst level design we've seen since Rogue Galaxy.
Yeah, I would rank this game below Rogue Galaxy because Rogue Galaxy wasn't as broken as this game.
Yeah, I mean, at least Rogue Galaxy, like, you could visually understand what the corridor was that you were walking down at most times. This game was such a mess and so broken with the camera clipping through the walls.
I would actually rank this game below Kingdom Hearts in my personal ranking of all the games we played.
Wow. It's the hottest of takes.
I'm saying Kingdom Hearts is better than this game. It's not broken and racist and shitty towards women and all that fun stuff. Vanessa.
I am roundly for this game. Now, bear with me here. Is it a good game? Well, let's look at the elements. Does it play well?
Fire.
No.
Earth.
Is the story
Black
good?
Wars.
No. Are the graphics enjoyable? No. Does it place you in a particular time or place in an immersive and compelling way? Yes. It has a very distinct point of view, and it sticks with it through the whole thing. It brings in, all this lore and narrative from the tabletop game. I really enjoyed learning about the different clans and the Camarilla. Look, there's no quantifiable way for me to say that this game is good, because it's not. But I liked playing it. And isn't that all that matters at the end of the day?
It is.
I really do enjoy the rabid level of fandom that this game inspires. I love that people are still working on it 10 years from now. And I'm very much looking forward to playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Set in my hometown of Seattle, Washington.
I really would like...
Spork, Washington.
Maybe Brian Pitt, our translation buddy, would want to DM us. I think we should all do our characters in a vampire game sometime. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Vanessa, did you discuss on the show that you got rejected by your hookup, Romero?
Oh my goodness. I forgot. This was awful.
Yeah.
This was heartbreaking. So I think I still have, because I took a photo to send to John. I'm going to read an email. This is not an email from a listener. This is an email that my character received in-game. Subject: about the other night. From Romero at deadhead.vtm. You'll remember Romero as my buddy from the graveyard. I got an achievement for sleeping with him called Romero Gets Some Lovin'. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that what happened between us, that was really special. You're a super girl. I mean it. But you and I, we're from different worlds, and I'm not saying I wouldn't be down for whatever if the mood hits, but I think we should keep our relationship professional. I think deep down, you'll see it's for the best. Stay beautiful, Romero.
Stay beautiful. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking harsh.
I love this game. I love that it has the guy who you had a random hookup with send you a breakup letter.
Jim, I want you to copy that down and save it in your phone for the next time you go on one of your crazy Bumble date adventures that does not work out. You can send it to them the next day. That is your new official breakup notice letter. I mean, we just had a conversation like 3 weeks ago about this exact thing, like on the show, like about how to end things.
I think
this is it, Jim.
Yeah, the best
Copy
thing to do is
just
have
send it out.
No, have it printed out and just slip it in her purse before she leaves.
Oh. You should paperclip a $5 bill with that. No.
Don't do that. That could open the door for you being arrested for soliciting prostitution.
Here's a scratch off that could win you a voucher for a cup of coffee. I can't just give you a voucher for a cup of coffee because that would be potentially a reward. But what I am giving you is a game. So that's what makes it legal.
All right. So next time on Square Roots, I think this will be up to me to tell you, and I'm going to say finish The Funeral of Fists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Make sure you put that someplace I can find it so I don't ask you 30 times.
Chapter 3. Finish chapter, and all the chapters are labeled, so it's pretty easy.
This game's going to be rad.
It's going to be rad. I love this game, and I hope you're all excited to play it because it's so fun.
I'm excited to learn more about the Yakuza and their role in Japanese society.
Well, it's a lot like the Camarilla. It's a lot like the Camarilla. Like, I was thinking about that. Oh, we're going to be going through a lot of clan politics again.
Oh, boy, that sounds super fun.
These games are all about dumb side quests and clan politics.
I'm so excited.
All right. Well.
We don't need to read an email, even if we do. It's 11:40 at night. Let's do this.
Don't forget about a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/SquareRootsPodcast, you can join, and for $3 a month, you will get access to every single bonus episode we've ever done. And for $5, you can vote on stuff like versus episodes and mainline games, and sometimes weird and silly votes, too. Also, we will read out your names as a Patreon reward. Every single $+ patron gets their name read on the podcast. So let's start. Pretend I'm Jim. No gods, no monsters. Vanessa 100% real mom. Stu Skeel, Devin Sloan, David Shook, Matt Jorgensen. More games with evil playthroughs. Race Jenkins, Gregory, Brady A. Berman, Dr. Stephen Stone, Julian Titus's spirit has finally found peace, G. Bailey, Bree Girth, Brian Pitt, Justin Ham, Robert T., Ross Hartley, Tyler Petty, Ward, Childress, Vanessa's People Mom, Aaron Bachman, Brian Stone, Count Chunkerlaw, Robert M. Pullum, Kiva Moser, Samu Mitchell, Heavy Metal Jesus, Doesn't Drink Wine, and it's mashed potato season. I love Jason Mraz.
Is it my turn? I wasn't paying attention.
It is your turn, Vanessa.
All right, here I go. Nathan Poirot, Randy Pierce, Jonathan Lee, Patrick W. Bears, Huxley Iguana, David Green, Jake Dickerson, James Hostetler, Ryan Miller, Miguel Torres, Julia Zanella, Tracy Tanoff, Bobby Midkiff is back to work. Huzzah! Benjamin Avner, Galendo, Jim's Nightmare Mannequin Room, PJ Enns, Resty Kamada, Tom, Jonathan Ellsworth, Wonderswan, Andy Best, Did It All for the Nookie, Eric Garby, Buffy Summers, Jared Collins to Bumpkins, and Vanessa's mom.
In loving memory of Sexy Grandma, Florian Jonas Kramer, Sean Walsh, Chris Penyak, DJ Ethro, John Kissick, Stephen Kroc, Vanessa's fourth mom, Citrus C, George Brady, Cyril the Wolf, Fine, say everyone's name, at least it annoys Matt, Ron Squared, Andy, Knopford, Jordan O'Boyle, Reddit is Harold Lauder, Sean Gonzalez, Sling Thing Ping Ringy Dingy, Halloween candy has turned my mouth into a dessert of pain. Jameson, just Jerry. Mary, Queen of Scoffs. Michael Crawford, Joseph! That's a Resident Evil reference.
We'd also like to thank Paul Bursch, Cameron Shoei, Adam Zimmerman, Stephen Paget, That One Guy, Wash in the Wind, 01000110010010011001111000.
That better
Pink
not
Ninja.
spell something nasty.
Amanda Douglas, Chris Ryan, Matthew Casterline, Christian Go, Kevin Walter, The Mighty Monarch, Andy Smith, Armin Hammer, Hexagon, Joshua Bennett, Lex Averial, Sean Arata, The Phantom Scofflaws of the Opera, Chris Wilder, Hudson Roth, Aaron Little, Andre Rivera, and Jeff Rock'n'Roll Martian.
Spoiler alert, it spells Alex.
Oh.
Yay, next week I'm just going to say Alex.
Well, how about we mix up the names again next week? Thanks to Katja Savia for letting us use her cover through this whole series for Isolated from Vampire the Masquerade soundtrack. You can find her on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram as Katja Savia, one word, and on Facebook as katyasavia.modernnoir. Links for all these are in the show notes. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher or well, we're not on Spotify, but we'll figure out a way of doing that at some point, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I'm Matthew Vampire Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And for the last time, I am Aponia Shade.
Bye.
Stay beautiful.
I'll never crawl again. I'll never fall again until I'm free. Here I stand in this room, caged and trapped inside. Seems I'm damned to live a lie. Unaware of what's outside. Should I care for what's left me behind? And I stare at light that makes me blind. Internally, there's nothing left for me to be. I'm here alone and isolated. Have no choice but be isolated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Pushed aside, made segregated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Have no choice but be isolated. Threatened, forced to extract the heart. Pushed aside, made segregated. Have no choice but be. The monsters make me hide. Perhaps I'll eat myself alive. Internally, what is there left for me to be? Can't care for what's left me behind. And I stare at light that makes me blind. These broken walls trap me inside. And isolated. Have no choice but be isolated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Pushed aside, made segregated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Have no choice but be isolated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Pushed aside, made segregated. Have no choice but be. Never crawl again.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Then why does he have like a Dracula accent? This game also posits that the world is 10,000 years old in a real, like, evangelical kind of way. So does
it?
Yeah, because it's saying, like, all the Bible stories are true and all that, so that would mean that...
Hang on. That's not necessarily true. You're talking about, like, specific Protestant beliefs.
Yeah.
Mostly in fucking America. That's not... Every take on the Bible is not that the world is 10,000 years old. I don't think the Catholic Church thinks the world is... And it's not 10, it's like 6,000.
They used to. I don't know if they still
could be
do.
wrong.
I actually, lore nuts. Lore nuts, tell us what, how this works with, like, history. Is the vampire world only a baby world?
I mean, it was written before these things were considerations that people took.
The Bible
Before
or the
people
game?
knew that the Earth was older than
I mean,
10,000
I
years
don't think
old.
that in, like, 1992 when this game came out,
Yeah,
I don't think a
people
lot of
thought the
people were
Earth was
fighting yet
10,000 years old.
over whether or not the Earth was 6,000 years
They've
old.
been fighting about that since forever.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, it's right next to his flat Earth globe. It's just a map.
He would believe in that.